Speaking of AI touching things, Unity. So Unity is a software largely known for developing video games, not only for consoles, but also for mobile. And the video game space is, I'll always talk about it, it's one of the most fascinating spaces to me because it is almost entirely entertainment focused. It's not even trying to pretend to be education slanted. It makes more money than books and music and movies and TV shows combined. People don't believe it, but it does. Makes way, way, way more money than that. And it just flies underneath the radar. For some reason, if someone tells you that they're a video game developer, you're like, oh, okay, you're just, whatever, you're in the video game space. You don't understand where they have to innovate constantly in order to stay ahead of the game, not only in the technology that's being used, but in behavioral methods, in design schemes, and voice acting and everything. You do a video game and you have all the you need all the skills of movies, you need all the skills of writing, you need everything inside of it. Perfect. What's interesting about the Unity thing is that they actually did out of the gate AI play with their, I believe it's called Unity Centis, which was the idea that NPCs, non-playable characters within the video games, would have their behaviors generated through LLMs or AI models. Super interesting. Love it. We're going to get that one day. But that sort of like was a flash in the pan in 2023, and then haven't really heard much about it. There was a fiasco with Unity, and that was their previous CEO came out and said, we're changing our model, our pricing, because they were just bleeding money. We're changing our model of pricing. You guys are going to have, if you want to develop a game, you're going to have to pay per install of the game. So anytime someone downloaded your app or installed the game, your cost was increasing with Unity in order to be able to use it. This was called the I forget what it's the exact name. It was called the I'll find the name later. So it was this nightmare. People were like, "What are you even talking about?" Runtime fee. There was a runtime fee. So you can imagine that you're running some of these video games. Even though it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, a lot of video games only sneak by. Right? They're not like making oodles and noodles of money. Not everything's Minecraft and Roblox. And so if all of a sudden now you have a base of 10,000 users, and now you have to increase your costs because now you have to pay a licensing fee, and they're not giving you any more features. You're not getting anything more because of it. They're just charging you more. You can imagine how you feel when Netflix increases their prices. Well, this was just crazy. It exploded, and it caused the stock to drop, and it made the CEO even had to resign. So if we just take a quick look at the chart, it was just this brutal period for Unity. So you have the it was downtrending for a while because they were losing money, and then right around here right around over here was the big thing with the runtime fee, and then the new CEO had to come out and say they're sorry, and they try to roll back the whole thing, but it really was a cut to the reputation. I mean, can you imagine you're spending money trying to develop a video game, and then in the middle of that process, you find out now that they're changing the model on you? It's just absolutely a nightmare. And then people are just headed over to Unreal Engine, which is an alternative to Unity, and they're like, I'm never coming back.
Yeah, so this is a tough one. It's not looking good. I mean, even from a fundamental perspective, earnings are growing, but it's still an unprofitable company. Debt is rising. They're even at these lower price points after an 87% pullback and drawdown from peak price. They're still actually overvalued. So this is a really interesting one. What's driving this recent price action, especially that gap up?
Yeah, so let me pull this up here. They were just on who was it? CNBC the other day. The CEO was on CNBC the other day. Let me just pull that up real quick.
Unity software turning in a monster move today, closing higher by 30% on a day. Tech stocks underperformed. The company topping estimates for the quarter, but guidance came in a bit light. Investors and analysts, though, keying in on Unity Vector, a new AI drive within the ad platform. And joining us now in an exclusive interview is Unity CEO Matthew Bromberg. Matthew, welcome. So, yeah, investors clearly excited about Vector and the idea that ads were growing again in Q4. Some of that's seasonal, but I think you also said, customers over $100,000 up to 1,254. Give us a sense of the sustainability of the growth in that growth solutions business.
Hey, thank you guys for having me so much. And maybe for the benefit of your audience, I just note that Unity makes the software that powers a good chunk of the video games you probably know in the world today. We make 70% of the mobile games in the world are built on Unity software. 7 out of 10 of the top AR games, 30% of the PC games. So we're really important to that ecosystem. And what we're really proudest of is that we help creators of content from prototype right through profitability. So from the moment you start to think about the content creation to the time when it comes to bring new users into your game. And to your point, John, yeah, we announced today a Unity Vector, which is a new AI-driven platform that we're going to be using. We hope to create a lot more value for advertising customers over the long term. And we're pleased that investors were cheered by it. In context, about, 2-3 years ago, there was this weird moment where Unity announced that it was buying ironSource, and you saw this tools maker combining with this kind of ads and monetization maker. And then AppLovin came in and said, don't do that. We'll buy you, Unity, as long as you drop that deal. And Unity said, no, we don't want to do that. We want to go ahead. Meantime, recently, within the past year plus a little bit, AppLovin stock has just taken off. There's been a lot of focus on this ads business and the ability to really monetize data within these ecosystems. What are you bringing to that with Vector? And say more about exactly when investors are going to see this monetization and the rate of it coming through. It won't be that long, it sounds like, from what you're saying. Yeah, look, I mean, all the history and corporate machinations aside, what's really important here is customers. And video game customers don't distinguish between the need to build great software and then the need to go out and acquire users to create big live services with that software. So these things from a product perspective belong together, and that's what Unity is really all about.
All right, so that's the part I wanted to get in there. So, and this is what I'm just going to thread these two things together because this is what I find interesting. First of all, Unity, they're going gangbusters, like cutting. They cut 25% of their workforce in 2024. They're still cutting now. The new CEO came in and it's like, okay, we're undoing the plans that we had before that you guys didn't like, that caused all the uproar. We're getting lean. Let's go ahead and do that. And what they realized was that they can't compete with Unreal Engine, the competitor, on one-for-one with like the design tools, the 3D engines, and all that. Unity has like a slightly different slant, but they couldn't go after the big dogs in that way. What they realized, though, is that because they're on all these different platforms, they have essentially an ad network, a visibility network that they can actually do more to monetize. And so, and he's right over here when he says, the CEO is right when he says that the video game developers, sometimes they're really good at developing the game. In fact, they're often very good. That's the thing they're good at. But then to distribute it is like the death knell. They cannot get this game into anyone's hands. Some people will spend years on the game and they cannot get it publicized. Then they burn their initial visibility, and now no one wants to get a new game that was there from 3 years ago.
Sure.
And so they created Unity Vector, which is focused on basically using AI to match video players with new games, all from the Unity network. So you're playing a mobile game you really like, it's suggesting you other games. Those other games will now come from the Unity network, and you're going to be paired AI-wise with another video game that you're most likely to like. But more importantly, they're gonna make sure the whales get paired with the people who are paying for that sort of visibility. So I guess the whales are like the big thing for mobile games. They're the ones who are paying for the development of a bunch of these games, and so to be able to pair with them, basically you can get your game directly in front of them using this tool. And so they did, even though they had tried AI with generating worlds and generating tools and generating characters, they're still trying, but that's 5 years out before it's like really amazing. They're like, no, yes, use our AI systems in the same way that telehealth was the Hims and Hers was doing, to pair customers together based on their habits and behaviors and how they're talking and all that. It's been doing. People have been loving it, just absolutely loving this new marketplace. Can you imagine like a Google ad, Facebook ads network, but specific for video games? Like I didn't even know that existed.
No, yeah.
So they're printing the reason the stock is up so much is that, one, the need was absolutely there. No one was really filling this need. You had the App Store, but it wasn't in the same way as this, and this was paired at the same time. So they were doing the job cuts. They did, which is always the biggest line item, usually the biggest line item in any company, the staff. They launched Unity 6, their new version, and then because of that, they were up 22% year over year for their subscriptions. So they generated an extra $533 million in subscriptions that they didn't have before. So they look like a hero. The new CEO comes in, who has this pedigree of video game companies that he helped save in the past, comes in. We're cutting everything. We're cutting the fat. Let's just do what works. Focus on better software. Focus on using AI in order to get better distribution for our ad network. And now people are like, whoa, okay, so it's changed now. They're no longer a second chip. And that's why on that chart we see this trend change. This new high that we just recently got is the third of the higher high. I don't really count down here. Now this trend has really started on a bullish trend. So we can expect pullbacks over here, certainly, but this is the first like bullish trend we've seen on this stock in years, actually since launch. So people really feel that the bottom is essentially in, and we're going up from here because nothing is showing that there's anything else that there's something showing any other mistakes that are on the horizon.
Right. That is pretty promising. So I think it's worth keeping an eye on how that translates out from here, and to keep an eye on this trend. I do have a couple of alerts that I wanted to pay attention to on Unity. They did make a list of mine recently, just from the amount of volume traded in one day recently with Unity on that news. This gap up was news to me. I didn't see that one coming. But the potential for growth from here seems pretty obvious.
Well, you were saying that you were getting like signals like from January 2nd.
I think that was on. Yes. Yeah. January 2nd is where I got one of my original signals. There was a single trading there.
Right over here of 2025.
Right. Correct.
Yeah. So what the reason I give Mike all these nicknames is that I always go to him to check if it's good or not. And so when I see this, and I mean, I used to be a big inside the video game space, and so Unity to me was like, you might as well have been saying Apple or Google Play Store. Unity has been there forever, and so the idea here now that they might actually be headed into a bullish trend now for the next few years, that to me is very, very, very exciting. And I'm finding it very difficult. I keep going over some of these analyst projections for what the stock should be worth. I'm finding it very difficult for when you're reading the analysis of these analysts, of how they factor in the productivity gains from the AI. Like they're saying, okay, they're looking at the revenue that's being generated, but that doesn't necessarily give you the idea of how all this can really play together and scale in such a way that it explodes in usefulness and productivity.
Right.
It's like, this company cuts 25% of their staff, and then not just to adjust their bottom line, but then also increases productivity in such a way that they make an extra $533 million. Like,
yeah, I think it's fair to say that many of the Wall Street analysts do incorporate much of that, and that, the more analyst coverage that you find on a stock, the more likely it is that you're going to get a lot of that narrative in the future forecasts. At the moment, analyst coverage for the next year, forecasting out to February 20th, 2025, still pegs Unity down another 16% at a price target of 23.56. And that's across 22 different analysts. So I agree with you. it's one of those debates around narrative versus data, right? Like how important is is AI to the future growth potential of the company? And obviously these forecasts can change pretty dramatically from quarter to quarter as you get more results that come in. So it's probably important to recognize that the forecast we're seeing from Wall Street right now was really from the last week. And this gap up that Unity had makes it appear that they're expecting price will go down, but really they were kind of expecting growth in the next year if you look at where price was prior to this gap up, right? So that's maybe the right way to think about it is even just looking back a couple weeks here, you could if you looked at January 31st, just 3 weeks ago, share price then was about $22.20 a share, and they were projecting out that $23.10 move up within a year, which is only 4% inside of 1 year. But I think it's important to realize that this gap up here is a small sign of the market responding favorably to the growth potential for Unity. So it needs a couple more quarters in order to really see if this is really translating out to earnings.
Okay, so when I hear that, Mike, I hear calls. I hear calls on. Let's see what the calls are on on Unity. Was it you? All right, so let's say by a couple of quarters, you said, okay, let's go by year end. December, let's call it, if we go with the trend, let's call that $32, just for funds. So, okay, so you'd have to buy the 680. Is it worth it? $32 by year end. It's not worth it. All right. Implied volatility is too high. So what we have to do is wait for the pullback, then get the calls in.
Yep.
It's just not
I think
worth
that's
it
the right way to look at it. I'd probably be selling premium at this point.
Fair enough. You're right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, interesting. I really want video games to be more important to people. That's why I'm very excited. One of the reasons it jumped on my radar is that I'm seeing whenever a new AI comes out, Grok 3 just came out, OpenAI's thing, 03, people always then start making video games. They'll make some simple, they'll make Snake, they'll make Brickdown or whatever, make Tetris. And they go, oh, in one shot at Tetris. Okay, great. But then you'll also have this group of people who are making more substantial video games that they'll then put on the App Store, and they'll actually, make $4,000 a month with this video game or whatever. And there's people now making video games for these platforms that we just never saw before. And I don't want to go too much into the weeds. There's the PlayStation and Xbox ecosystem, which no one's building. You have to have a studio to make a game for that. But there's a switch towards Steam, where you can build a computer game and then it can get on a console because of their Steam Deck. And so I'm waiting for the next Minecraft, the next Stardew Valley, the next 1 to 3 man show, who then uses AI tools in order to generate these video games, that then people go, wait a second, why am I busy banging my head against the wall trying to do some other? Let me just make a game that I really like, and I can be able to. I could sell 10,000 copies of it. Oh, let me toss it onto the Unity ad network, and all of a sudden now I'm the next Mojang from Minecraft. So I'm
Nice.
really excited about it. That's what I want to see it so badly. I just want to see unbelievable productivity that explodes beyond what we could have forecasted, and then all these charts just go straight up.
We need it.
What's going on?
We need it. We're at that. Just looking at the chart today, this pullback right now. We need another resurgence of AI hype in order to just keep pushing this market forward. So
that's right.
I'm right there.
I'll take a dip. I'll take a dip to the 3-month average, and then let's move up. Because otherwise, I just feel like let's go down first. Excellent. Before we move on to our last story, let's take a moment to shout out TradersPost, the automated trading platform designed to take the friction out of executing your strategies. Whether you're trading stocks, futures, or crypto, TradersPost connects seamlessly to your broker or exchange, giving you the flexibility to automate your trades without missing a beat. If you're tired of being the bottleneck in your own success, it's time to let automation do the heavy lifting. Head over to TradersPost.io and see how easy it is to streamline your trading. TradersPost, because your strategy deserves to run at full speed.